I came to IREX, the world's largest robot expo, expecting Japan to take the spotlight in humanoid robotics. But after walking the entire venue for 3 full days, I noticed something I truly didn't expect. So, Japan did have humanoid robots, but they were almost invisible. They were not the main event, not the spotlight, not the star of the show. Then that was the real shock. I think Japan had simply fallen behind, but the truth is almost the opposite. Japan is already winning, just not in humanoids. Welding robots, logistics robots, warehouse automation, assembly lines. These industries generate billions every year. So when a country already dominates these profitable sectors, there's little incentive to gamble on humanoid robots, a technology that is risky, expensive, and may take decades to mature. Japan builds robots that already have customers, not robots that might succeed someday. If Japan wasn't pushing humanoids, who was? Here's what surprised me most. The most explosive, high-energy humanoid demos at IREX didn't come from Japan. They came from China and Europe. China showed speed, strength, agility, robots punching, lifting, running, doing dynamic tasks. Europe brought highly polished, research-grade humanoids. And the United States? Almost completely absent. Not because the US is behind, but because its strategy is built on secrecy, private partnerships, and closed ecosystems. They don't need applause, they need contracts. And their biggest contracts are at home, in Detroit, in Texas, in Nevada, where automakers, warehouses, and defense contractors actually buy robots. So for US companies, shipping fragile multi-million-dollar machines across the Pacific just to perform at a show where almost no customers will sign deals simply isn't worth it. IREX is a global stage, but it's not their market. So if the Americans aren't here, who's actually competing for this stage? The answer becomes obvious the moment you walk the floor. Japan and China. 2 robot superpowers standing on the same ground, but showcasing power in completely opposite ways. China shows breakthroughs. Japan shows reliability. And nothing captured this contrast better than the debut of Kawasaki's Kaleido 9, a rescue robot developed over 10 years to operate in disaster zones. On its world premiere at IREX, it swept the floor and took out the trash. Most people expected dramatic rescue actions, lifting debris, carrying victims, entering danger zones. But Kawasaki chose to demonstrate something else. Absolute stability, absolute savings, zero risk. In Japan, a robot that never fails is more impressive than a robot that simply looks impressive. And once you understand this mindset, you understand why Japan builds the kinds of robots it builds. Care robots, companion robots, emotional robots, assistive robots. Robots designed for an aging society, not for industrial disruption. This is why Japan builds Lovot instead of Optimus, why it builds care robots instead of construction robots. And honestly, I get it. I don't know if you would buy an emotional companion robot, but I probably would. Not gonna lie, a robot girlfriend that actually listens? Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be tempted? And after seeing all this, something finally clicked. The US, China, Japan, and Europe are not even racing on the same track. The United States is betting on secrecy and high-margin partnerships. China is betting on full scenario deployment, rapid iteration, scale. Europe is betting on research purity and engineering precision. Japan is betting on safety, service, and long-term social robots. They're not competing for the same prize. They're betting on different futures. The world is heading toward 2 kinds of robots. Robots built to help humans, to lift us, protect us, take care of us. And robots built to replace humans, to take over the jobs we can't or won't do anymore. 2 futures, 2 philosophies, 2 completely different bets on humanity. So here's the real question. Which one do you think we're actually building toward? IREX may be over, but the robotics race isn't slowing down. Not in Japan, not in China, not anywhere. If you want clear, honest coverage of where humanoids are actually heading and what really matters behind the scenes, hit subscribe. There's a lot more coming.